Hello everybody, my name is Umpimete, also known as Re. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and please don't forget to subscribe. So today I'll do geometric sequence. So I'll do 3 questions. So remember, on geometric sequence we have common ratio. It's different from arithmetic. Arithmetic we have common difference, but on geometric we have common ratio. So remember, a ratio is T2 divided by T1 or T3 divided by T2. You should get the same answer, okay? Because we say it's common, so our ratio should be the same, okay? So the first question says, determine the 10th term with this pattern 3, 6, 12. So the question says determine the 10th term. So this tells us that our n is 10, okay? And remember, the formula for geometric sequence is Tn is equals to ar to the exponent n minus 1, okay? So where I see n, I'll write 10. Remember, our sequence is 3, 6, 12, okay? So our a, it's 3 because a is the first term, remember, so it's 3. Our r is T2 divided by T1, so it's T2 divided by T1, okay? So our T2 is 6, you see, our T2 is 6 and our T1 is 3, and 6 divided by 3, it's 2, so our difference is 2. Now I have my a, I have my r, I have my n, so I can calculate the 10th term, okay? So okay, remember our formula is here, right? So I'll say, okay, t number 10 is equals to our a, it's 3, our r, always put it in bracket, so our r should be 2 here, and here we'll have, remember, it's n minus 1, which means it will be 10 minus 1, okay? So now we got values, we don't have a let in between, so we can press it in our calculator the way as it is. So it will be 10 minus 1, so our answer is 1536. So this is our final answer, 1536. So this is our 10th term for that sequence, okay? So let's do the second question. On the second question, it says determine the number of terms, and we have this sequence. Remember, this is number 2. We are given this sequence 2, 4, 8, okay? So they said determine the number of terms 2, 4, 8 is our pattern, is equals to 1024, okay? 1024, you see. So at this point, remember, it's geometric, which means we will use this formula. So where I see Tn, I will substitute 1024, same as arithmetic, just that the difference is, on my previous video I was doing arithmetic, now I'm doing geometric. So where I see n, I will write 1024, okay? A is for the first term. First term is here, it's 2, okay? To get r, we'll say T2 divided by T1 or T3 divided by T2, so our answer will be 2, because 4 divided by 2 it's 2, or 8 divided by 4 it's 2, so our r is 2. And I said for r you should put it in bracket, okay? So here we are looking for n. Like I said, every time when they ask you determine the number of terms or calculate the number of terms. That means you should calculate for n. Okay, so after this step, you don't have to do anything with the bracket, but you have to divide both sides by 2. Okay, so let's take this one because it have unknown to the left hand side. So let's say here we have this, because this 2 will cancel this 2, right? So you'll press on your calculator and say 1024 divided by 2 is how much? 512. So we have 512. So after this step, the goal, remember, is to make n the subjective the formula. We want the value of n. That's our main goal, to get the value of n. Okay, so at this point we should make the bases the same. So when I said bases the same, which means on the right hand side I should have 2 to the exponent something. So let's test. Okay, so if I say 2 to the exponent 3, you see it's far from 512. So let's test with 5. Nope, still far. Let's test with 7. 128. Okay, we are getting there. Let's test with 8. Okay, test with 9. Yes, remember here we have 512, so we'll say okay, we have 2 to the exponent 9. So here it's n minus 1, 2 to the exponent 9. Okay, now we have the same base. We are happy. Now it's time to drop the exponents because we have the same base. So we'll have n minus 1 is equals to 9. So when I take 1 to the opposite side, it will change the sign. So it will be 9 plus 1. And 9 plus 1 is 10. So our n is 10. Which means term number 10 is equals to 1024. Okay. And one thing about this question, you can test your answer. You can test your answer from here. Let's say here, from here. Let me hide this part. Okay, let me hide this part. Or what can I use? Okay, let me take this paper and say, okay, let me fold this little piece of paper. Okay, let's say we hide this part. So if you take your calculator, this is my calculator. So I'll press what's on the right hand side. So it's 2 open brackets 2 to the exponent. Our answer is 10. Remember, so my n is 10 minus 1. So you see it will give you 1024. So which means our n is correct. Okay, so yeah, that's how you can check it. Right, so let's continue. So the second one says, what are the first 3 terms of a geometric sequence and determine the value of x? And we are given our sequences. Let me see. It's 5 x 45, and it is geometric. So when you are given an unknown, you should use the ratios. You see, when we do arithmetic sequence, I use the differences. So now it's a different story. I will use the ratios. So remember, for the ratios is t2 divided by t1 is equals to t3 divided by t2. You see, so that's how you should start it. So our t2 is x and our t1 is 5. Our t3 is 45 and our t2 is x. You see, I'm looking for the value of x. And when they say determine the first 3 terms, I can't determine my first 3 terms without knowing the unknown value. Okay, so I will have to cross multiply. So I'll say x multiplied by x, it's x squared. Then I will have to say 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 45 is 225, you see. So I'll write 225 here. Now remember, here I have x squared and I'm looking for the value of x, which means I will have to square both sides. Okay, so when I square both sides, I will say, okay, here I'll be left with x only. So let's see, square root of 225, 15. So 225 is a perfect square, remember. So our answer is 15. So our x is 15. So we got our x value, which means our sequence will be 5, 15, 45. To test it, remember when we do arithmetic, we said we should have the common ratio. Okay, so remember from this formula, if I press on my calculator and I say, okay, my T2 now it's 15, so it will be 15 divided by T1, which is 5. Okay, so which is 3, you see. So it's 3. So if I say T3 divided by T2, it's 15. It also gives me 3, you see. So our ratio is common. So yeah, that's how we do it. And thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and tell others so that they can also join, and hit that button of subscribe and hit the notification bell so that every time when I upload a new video, you'll get a notification. Thank you.